Let us face it, Earvin Magic Johnson has lots of money, and as CEO of his own company, he has lots of business partnerships. But along the way to CEO status, Johnson admitted that he's fumbled the bag a few times. So, if you want to know more about this, then this video is for you. For today's video, exclusive for our Fortune Fastlane members, we will be talking about the time when Magic Johnson lost $5 billion. So without further ado, let's get into the video. If you are watching the HBO series Winning Time, you know that Magic Johnson turned down a Nike shoe deal, which would eventually have been worth over $5.2 billion in favor of a $100,000 deal with Converse. Johnson is not a fan of Winning Time and said he won't watch the show that takes a look at his finances and life, including delving into his womanizing days and his HIV status. The series provides insight into one of Johnson's financial mistakes as a young Magic Johnson. In 1979, Converse was a leading shoe company for the National Basketball Association or NBA, and Nike had only been operating for 6 years. According to the show, Nike, who had the rights to sell sneakers and other products with Magic imprinted on them, offered Magic $100 in stock and a $1 royalty for every pair sold. As narrated by the show's graphics, this is estimated to have cost Magic about $5.2 billion. After his playing career was over, Magic Johnson became a successful businessman. He has become one of the most prominent black businessmen in America and partnered with hundreds of companies across the country. He was worth around $600 million when everyone else was worth billions. His net worth may not be on par with Tiger Woods, but $600 million is still a significant figure. It's also worth noting that no one, not even the founders of Nike, had any idea how big Nike would become. While Magic turned down Nike, the 6-time NBA champion and is the current owner of the Charlotte Hornets, did not. Today, Michael Jordan's known as Jordan brand is worth $10 billion according to Forbes. Don't worry, we will be talking about that $5.2 billion in a while. As Magic Johnson said, "When I first came out of college, all the shoe companies came after me. And this guy, Phil Knight, who just started Nike. All the other companies offered me money, but Nike couldn't offer me money because they just started. So he said, stock. I'm going to give you a lot of stock. I didn't know anything about stock. I am from the inner city. We don't know about stocks. So was it a big mistake? Maybe or maybe not. How about we talk about math? Obviously, $5.2 billion is a big and eye-catching number. However, it is not entirely accurate. Yes, Nike offered Magic Johnson stock in the summer of 1979, but the 18 cents per share of stock Nike offered Johnson was too high. They didn't actually go public until December 1980, so their stock offering at that price is clearly not accurate. Winning Time makes the assumption that Nike gave $100,000 worth of stocks because it helps make comparison easier. The actual amount, we don't know. And it is not just that. According to Winning Time, Nike offers their emerging talent, Magic Johnson, $1 royalty per shoe. But this is probably twice what the actual amount would be. The standard royalty at the time was 5% of gross revenue. In this case, around 50 cents per shoe. In a nutshell, the Winning Time math doesn't work. But take note, the Nike offer was still a potentially huge deal. Since we do not know the exact number of how many shares were offered to Magic Johnson, let us use an example. Let's say Magic was offered $1,000 worth of Nike stock. In that case, he would have received 711,040 shares, based on the original purchase of 5,555 Nike shares. Based on the most recent split in 2016, the 18 cents per share cost for Magic's original purchase of Nike stock turns into 0.000004 cents per share. Since Nike stock recently closed at $135.87, a person who bought $1,000 of Nike stock at the time of the initial public offering would now be worth over $96 million, not counting the value and compounding power of reinvested dividends. Now, we all know and understand when Magic Johnson says, "Boy, did I make a mistake. I'm still kicking myself. Every time I'm in a Nike store, I get mad. I could have been making money off of everybody buying Nikes right now." Even if Johnson only got $10,000 in Nike stock, those shares would now be worth nearly $1 billion. Imagine you buy $10,000 worth of Tesla stock and the next day the stock surges. The price of your investment went from $10,000 to $40,000. Do you continue to hold? Research by Daniel Kahneman, author of the great book Thinking Fast and Slow, indicate that losses are twice as psychology powerful as gains. To most of us, a bird in the hand truly does seem better than having two in the bush. When we risk a loss, we are risking something that we already have. On the other hand, as soon as we risk a gain, there is always a possibility to lose out. If at this moment we have a chance to make $10,000 but do not, it will suck. However, when at the moment we have $40,000 and lose some of it or all of it, that sucks more. It is difficult to say for sure, but it's likely that Johnson had sold some of his Nike shares somewhere along the way, since he would have known about the potential risk long enough to avoid anticipation. Maybe to avoid a potential loss, but more likely to finance one of many business ventures. Because make no mistake, Johnson is one kick-ass entrepreneur. If ever, Magic's Nike deal would have started in 1979, did Nike have the financial infrastructure and marketing savvy to take advantage of that deal? By 1984, when Nike signed Michael Jordan, Nike wasn't just thinking about signing an athlete endorser, it was thinking about building a brand. And Nike has come a long way from only signing athletes to building the brand. One perfect example is the Air Jordan brand. Without Michael Jordan, Nike wouldn't be where it is today. Nike's sales goal was $3 million. But after the first year of having MJ on the shoes, they sold $126 million. Today, the Jordan brand generates about $4 billion per year. And on top of the money side, Jordan was extremely popular, and Nike's Jordan-centric advertising campaigns attracted other professional athletes to the brand. So Jordan may be the reason Nike is what it is today. So if the deal ever did happen, the Johnson stock would probably not be worth as much. In 1979, Nike was an undercapitalized shoe company trying to make a name for themselves in the running shoe industry. Around the same time, basketball-specific footwear was led by Converse. You would not have turned down $100,000 if you had been sure it was offered to you by the dominant player. And that is what Johnson did. It is difficult to know what the right thing is to do when you get retrospective, but it is easy when you look back on past mistakes. For instance, in the 1980s, a next-door neighbor started a language learning company from their living room and became successful. That fledgling company was Rosetta Stone. If you look back, no, you might be thinking, wow, I should have invested. But that is now. And at the time, you would have thought he was very nice but kind of odd, and would never have invested in his startup. Only in hindsight does it seem smart. Take Ronald Wayne as an example. He is someone who famously relinquished his stake in the company after 2 weeks, an ownership share that would today be worth $75 billion. He said, "I have never had the slightest pangs of regret because I made the best decision with the information available to me at the time." With the information he had about the situation and his experience in his kind of work, Magic made the best decision at that time. You could argue that Nike helped inspire him to become a better business person. Realizing what he did not know fueled his desire to learn, grow, and build a staggeringly successful portfolio of companies and investments. So maybe he does regret turning down the Nike offer, but he surely would never regret what he did in response to that mistake. And that is a real lesson about this Magic Johnson and Nike story. Past mistakes don't define you. It is what you do after the mistake that defines you. It is ultimately what determines your future. There you have our Fortune Fastlane video for today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like this video. If you think we have delivered value, please share this video with one person. Just one share is enough for you to show your appreciation for the commitment and hard work we all put together in creating this video that teaches and helps you on your mission of building your own fortune. And you don't know that one share could go a long way. And keep in mind that no matter how many times you're going to watch this video, you won't see any results unless you take action. Bye and see you at the next one.